We're here with someone who had a side business for 15 years. He made a few $100 a month, and he turned that into his full-time thing, being able to turn into a six-figure business very quickly. Now, Jeff, tell us, what about those 15 years in business that made it not go full-time or stay a side business?
I had a couple different businesses I was running. I had a full-on construction business that I was doing, but before that I was doing my side hustle, which is I'm doing right now full-time. And I think part of it was just a mental block of how do I get new customers? How do I do this? I don't know how, and lack of confidence, and being able to stick to a plan, be consistent, just in understanding me of that stuff. I think in my younger years, that business, that there's really no secret sauce. It's really being consistent, holding yourself accountable, and doing those things. And so I just didn't understand that. And so I think I kind of reacted and said, "Hey, I better get a corporate job," and so I could pay bills and whatnot. So that's kind of why I started going down the corporate job. And I never had a job before, but I thought, well, it's safe, it's secure and whatnot. But just, yeah, it got boring really fast, the corporate world. But then I was locked in to the corporate world because now I'm getting a paycheck, and it's like, how do I break away now? And how do I figure that out? And yeah, you just get in this cycle, and it could be a combination of how do I pay my bills? Do I have enough confidence? How do I get more jobs? How do I get more opportunities? And there's just this vicious cycle that happens, I think, with a lot of people that have the intention of doing the full-time job, but I think they get scared. At least I was. I didn't know what to do and was kind of worrying, and so I kind of jumped ship, I guess, and went to the corporate America. I think it would be greener on the other side.
Yeah, well, for people to have a better idea of where you were and where you are today, first of all, what was the corporate job? What did you do there? And what was the side business at that point?
I was building houses, and I was a full-time contractor building houses. But back then, the economy started to tank, and so that's when I started doing more of what I'm doing today, which is payment processing. And I started that and thought, hey, I'll build this business up. And that's when I'm like, hey, it's not going to be built. I'm not going to be able to build it fast enough because the building industry just took a dive, and so many people got hurt, I guess, businesses. So I decided to go into banking because it was similar to payment processing. I wasn't doing loans and stuff. I was just doing business services at the bank. Like payment processing was just one of the services, but we offered a lot of different services, and it felt comfortable. But yeah, little did I know that I'd get stuck in that corporate America trap, I guess. Call it a trap. I mean, it was good at the time. I got I got my mind a little bit more clear, but just after a few years, it was like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. But then I was stuck. I felt like, at least I thought I was.
You were working at a bank, stable job. You had a good job. It was a six-figure job at that point. And then the side business was helping business owners or businesses process payments better, easier, cheaper. Now, what happened that made you be like, whoa, I actually gotta make this side business happen now rather than later?
Well, at first the bank went on for 10 years, 11 years. And then I thought, well, I wasn't even thinking about the side business so much as, hey, I need a change of pace. So I looked for another corporate job outside of the bank that was a little bit more, I guess, just a little bit different. It was software sales. So I was doing software sales for an HR company, and it was different. And that's what I thought I needed. Well, at least I felt like if I could transition and replace my income from this corporate job to this corporate job, and have a little bit more flexibility, work from home, because I was working from home, and that lasted for a couple of years. But it really wasn't the solution that I was looking for. I thought it was, but I just, yeah, getting to my age, and I'm like, I've got to figure something out. And so finally just pulled the plug and had a little bit of savings and retirement stuff that I had a little bit to be able to create a runway for myself just to make it happen. Obviously I had some credit cards, different stuff, but I'm like, I've got to be able to pay my bills, but I'm going to make this thing work. And it was scary, but I just knew that I had to jump ship and do that. Now, I didn't know what I was going to do. When I say what, meaning I didn't know how I was going to create customers. I knew I kind of wanted to do my side hustle full time because it's residual income, and residual income in my mind is awesome because you're not always trying to sell something and then find another customer and sell it again and over. But the residual income really appealed to me, and I learned that over time, that if you have different streams of income, and residual being, I guess, the best stream of income because it just keeps going, you can build it up.
Being in your 50s now, most people would be really afraid of going all in into something that's as unstable as business. And the jobs are also that unstable, right? But the perception is that careers, long careers, and jobs are more stable than a business, even though they're both really unstable. And so for you, how did that go? Did you have that fear because of being a little older, maybe thinking retirement and wanting something more stable? Or how did you work that out?
I had a little taste of entrepreneurship in my younger years because I was doing contracting, building homes, developing, and we were making really good money. I mean, I had a business partner and we had some big transactions, you know. I mean, I remember in 2 weeks in the developing and contracting, making just the company with my two partners. I guess I had two partners at the time, but we closed it. We flipped some property and made almost like $400,000 in 2 weeks. It was like, this is awesome, you know, this is my path, this is what I'm doing. But then the economy tanked, not realizing that there's the ebb and flow of business. And we kind of had our eggs all in one basket. And so so it kind of gave me a little bit of PTSD because, I mean, things went downhill pretty fast. I mean, things like I had to like start selling my truck, selling my kids' motorcycles. The house payment was becoming difficult to pay. And it was just, yeah, it was, you know, I started feeling depressed and yeah, it was crazy. And I think I had a little PTSD. That's why I went to corporate America. Like, I need something stable. But after I kind of got my mind back and everything, I'm like, oh man, it's going to be scary, but I'm going to just give it a shot. I'm in my 50s, but I kind of thought a little bit of like, you know what? I'm too old. There's no way that I can do this. I can't start my own business. I mean, I had those thoughts that just like, I'm too old. What am I thinking? What am I trying to start a new business for? And so that I had to overcome that as well. And what really kind of gave me some confidence was my wife had said, she's like, you know what, if you're going on your own, she goes, with your personality, you ought to hire like a business coach or someone that you can hold you accountable and that you can reflect and be able to talk about business ideas and things like that, where I've never really had that before, but that's kind of what gave me a little bit of confidence. So that's when my wife, one Saturday morning, she started shopping around online on Google, like typed in business coaches. And we started looking, and we didn't know what we were going to look. I didn't know what I was looking for, but she had a little bit of coaching experience because she does some life coaching for women, and so she just thought, man, you would be really good having a coach. So that's when I decided, hey, I need to hire a coach if I'm going to do this on my own. So I actually hired a coach before I even quit my corporate job so that I could start to have a little bit of momentum and get a little bit of experience. And then after a few months, I'm so glad that I did hire a business coach because it kind of came to a point where I had this boss that was a punk. He was younger than me. He was accusing me of stuff that I didn't do, and I had enough of that. So I'm like, I'm out of here, and kind of almost forced to leave the company because just his nature of managing and whatnot. By the way, he's already gone out of that position. And but anyway, it kind of gave me a boost to say, you know what, this is it. I'm going for it. So I had this business coach I was working with, had a little bit of confidence going, and then it was like, I'm done with corporate America. I'm building somebody else's dream. I'm building their portfolio. Why don't I do this on my own? I just need to do this on my own. Why am I doing it for someone else? And the thing is I got so frustrated in corporate America because of like, I was in sales, so they would change the compensation program every single year, but they would change it midstream. It was so ridiculous. And I got so frustrated with that. And it was never for our favor. It was always going downhill. And so it culminated in a lot of different things to be able to come to this point at age, 54 and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to make this happen and almost like burn the boats, baby. I'm burning the ships and I'm going forward. I'm not looking back. So a long answer, but that kind of tells you a little bit of my story and why I decided to finally just go for it and choose my business for myself and know that I'm not going to have all the answers, and I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna figure it out.
I love that. And just to clarify, right, we have been working together for probably a year and a half now, and so yeah, it's been awesome to see your growth and your development from that point to now. Now, what about the coaching process, Jeff? And not even about us, but what was the biggest change that you saw in yourself from the beliefs you had at the beginning? Maybe I'm not sure what to do. I'm not quite 100% sure how to grow this business. What were the biggest shifts that you had that made you grow the business much faster? those results?
It's a slow process. I think it doesn't happen overnight, but I think as I started to implement some of my consistent actions and then started to gain that confidence, like at first I was kind of overwhelmed, like I got to do this and this and this and this, I was a little bit overwhelmed. But as I started doing those consistent actions and I was being held accountable, my confidence grew. And then I'm like, holy cow, I can. I mean, one example is just posting videos for my business. You had made the suggestion, hey, what have you thought about doing any social media? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm the old guy. I don't want to be doing that. But I said, you know what? I'm going for it. I'm just going to do it. And so I started posting 2 videos every single day, Monday through Friday. Think about it. That's 10 videos. I mean, most of the time people think like, how do you do that? Or if I mention it to people, they're like, what? How did you do that? But now it's become such a norm. I've been doing it for, I think, 9 months now, posting videos. And I've had some that worked really well, some that, don't, but it's just a testing ground. And you get this confidence, like, okay, I'm going to add another consistent action. I'm going to add another one. And you get this growing confidence. And then pretty soon, you'll get these little lows, I remember coming to you like, this is not going to work. This is so hard. And then then I'm like, okay, I have to create a consistent action to change my mindset. And so I'd implement that. And then I would get that growth, I guess, and learn that, hey, I got to stop thinking this negative thought and say, hey, this is going to work, or I just got to keep going. And so it's slowly, but you get this quiet confidence that starts to grow in you. And then the money starts to come because you're closing deals now and you're getting stuff done. And then it's like, holy crap, this is going to work, And I was so excited after about 10 months doing it full time. I finally replaced my income, my original corporate income. Never in a million years did I think I would be able to do that. I mean, inside I thought, okay, my business coach, he has confidence in me, and he always he instills that you would always instill that confidence, going, hey, this is normal to feel down, or this feels normal to not be able to do this. And so just to have that third party that's not family or friends or a mom or a dad, it's a game changer. I mean, it was a game changer for me, and I almost wanted to just shout from the rooftop, going, guys, I don't care who you are, get you a coach, get a business coach, because it will change you. And I see my friends around me, and they like, yeah, I got to do that. They talk about it, but that's all they do is they just talk about it and never do it. And so now I've experienced talking about it for decades and then doing it and going, holy crap, I can do anything now. I can do anything. I just got to be consistent and do what I need to do. It's just solving problems every single day, solving problems and not giving up and being consistent and just going for it. So
it sounds like before there's a lot of thoughts, right? Like, what do I do? How do I do? I'm not sure. How do I make this thing happen? And what you did in the process was turn that into action, right? Instead of overthinking, I'm gonna take consistent action, even if it's imperfect. Now, what's really impressive about you, Jeff, is that in your 50s, you started showing up on social media, which you probably don't have many friends that do that at all, right? Making 2 videos a day, putting their faces out there, not being afraid of the judgment or whatever it is. And you actually got some pretty crazy results from the consistent and perfect action. There's a lot of things that you were doing to get clients, not just social media. But how did you go from never having created content before to getting tons of videos? You probably had what, 5, 7, 10 videos that got millions of views. How did that happen?
Biggest thing is you just take action. I mean, that's what I've learned from working with you, Benjor, is like, just take action, start doing it, and then you start to get a better process as you go. And so what stuck out in my mind too was like, hey, if you do 2 a day, then you can test faster rather than doing just 1 a day or 3 a week. And so I thought, I'm going to take that challenge. 2 a day, I'm going to get there faster. And yeah, I was posting on 7, or I am posting on 7 platforms. I've kind of like figured out a little bit. Some of the videos I can't post on all platforms, but the TikTok, my TikTok has just taken off. Never did I think that, TikTok was business oriented. I thought it was just for kids, whatever, but holy cow, I've watched my audience, and I've had, several videos. I mean, one has 3.8 million views. I have another one, 1.8 million, another one that's over 2 million, tons of them that have like 100, 400,000. And I think I got about 13,000, just a little over 13,000 followers in like 9 months, which never would I have thought of, in a million years. Like, I'm too old, no one's gonna listen to me. But I just got rid of that stuff and just said, I'm just doing it. I don't care what people think. I'm done caring what people think, it's my business. And if I don't step into it and do it, it's not gonna happen, And so that's kind of what I did. Just went for it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who they're always looking for, what's the best thing to post for my business, or what's the best platform, what strategy to follow. What would you tell to someone who's starting a business, who has a side business, or who's full-time? They want to get to the next level, not just with social media, but with any strategy, and they've been debating about which one to follow.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is I've learned that I think people that want to start a business have intentions to, they're just overthinking it all day long. Just take action and then you'll start to figure it out as you just take action. Using my videos as an example, like, because I had a goal of doing 2 videos, my first viral video, it was like midnight, and I'm like, I got to get one more video done. And I decided to do repurpose like a YouTube video about Square and how people were getting, taken advantage of. They were freezing their accounts anyway. So I repurposed the video, green screened it with me on there. And it was almost like, I'm just going to get it done and be done with it for today. Because it was my goal, right? To get 2 videos. Then lo and behold, like after a few days, that's my first viral video that I just posted, not even thinking about it, not even strategizing, just throwing it out there. And it stuck. And so I started doing more videos like that. And then those started getting a ton more views. So it's just taking action. I mean, action is the biggest thing that holds people back is just taking action. And then once you take action, just be consistent and not worrying about if it's working. I mean, yes, you're going to tweak it here and there, but just keep going. I mean, that's what I've found, is being able to have that confidence to just keep taking action, knowing that there's no perfect bullet. I mean, everyone thinks like there's this perfect way to do it and there's a secret sauce or this business owner is so successful because they do this. No, pick something and stick with it. Just pick it. My son says, pick it and stick it. That's what his mantra is. He's an entrepreneur, him and his wife, and that's what he's like. He's got to pick something and stick with it. Just keep going. So
there you go. And that's where a lot of people make their money out there, right? If you go to Facebook, see all these ads, there's always a new opportunity, the new strategy, the new software, the new thing that's going to get easier, faster results, whether it's a new diet or a new way to make money. And so how do you block out all of those distractions so that you can actually stick to it long term, Jeff?
To be honest, as having a business coach, it's like I had a couple like squirrel moments where I said, hey, Benjor, I've been looking at this business over here. It might grow a little faster. This is before I started making income. And I loved your answer. You're like, yeah, I think it would make some money. Do you want to switch what you're doing and go over there and start doing that? And I'm like, no, because I'd have to start from ground zero. I've already established, this over here. I'm just going to go in this direction. And so it's almost like just like getting it off your chest that you think there's a better idea and realizing that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Just stick to what you've got and give it a year. I mean, just give it 12 months and just stick to it and see where it takes you. And you'd be amazed at the different opportunities that pop up, that happen just by sticking with something. And now you become the expert in your field. And I've seen that happen. People, even though I post 10 times a week, right? They go, oh, I saw one of your videos, so I thought I'd give you a call and see if you could help me out, and it could be friends or family. It could be, neighbors. It could be someone on TikTok that saw something and messaged me or something, but now I'm the expert. And so it's crazy how you just stick with it.
Great. Now, in the beginning, there's times where you're trying the new thing, whether it was content or messaging people or emailing or calling, whatever it is, trying to get more customers.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long period, you may not see results, right? Well, we don't have the skill. We haven't done it before. It's just flopping, and that can even take a long time.
Yeah.
When the results were not there, you're not making much money. The views are getting 10, 20, 50 views. People are not picking up the phone, and you felt kind of down.
Yeah.
What did you do to pick yourself back up and stay on track?
I mean, there's no doubt you can have bad days, in business, but it's really just almost like just focusing on those consistent actions and just keep going because there's always going to be a better day the next day, because you might have a day where no one answers the phone, no, you can't get any deals, you don't, but then the next day you have a deal that goes through, and then that adds that energy to your mindset, and so you're just like, okay, I got this, and I did a consistent action for a while where I had to redo my thinking, and be able, when I started to go down a path of like, it's not going to work, all the negativity, I would say, hey, I'm going to keep trying, I'm going to keep going. It will work. I just got to keep consistent and kind of stop my thinking. So that's some of the things I would do is stop that negative thinking, because if you can just think down a different path, like, I'm going to try this, it might work. Hey, I'm going to try something else, it might work too. And so just giving yourself that hope and the desire to just keep going, because eventually it will work. It just, in the beginning, it is hard because, yeah, you don't have any business. You don't know how to do it. I remember emailing, I don't know how many emails for 6 months without getting one deal. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is not working. I should just throw in the towel. But then I started doing like calls locally. Then I started doing some Facebook ads. Then I started doing other stuff. And then those were working and I was getting leads in different directions. And I kind of abandoned the cold emailing but I didn't know. I wouldn't know if I didn't try it. You have to try things. Otherwise you don't know. You can't sabotage yourself before you even get started. You have to get started and do it long enough to say, okay, this is not working, or watch a bunch of videos. So I mean, that's what I would do too, is when I get down, I'd watch a video from an expert and say, oh, okay, these guys are finding success. So there's got to be some success there. What can I do better? What could I do to improve that? How can I tweak it? And so, yeah, that's some of the things that I would do to keep myself motivated. But yeah, you're gonna have down days, but that's when a business coach really comes into play. It's like, oh, I'm having a bad day, and you would validate my bad day, but then say, hey, that's normal. That's normal business to have bad days, and it will be better. So keep going, and you got this. So,
Yeah. Well, expecting the second days gives a lot of confidence that it's normal, right? That we're not doing something wrong. Now, you're mentioning consistent actions a lot. For someone who doesn't quite get what that means, what is that, and how can people do that even if they don't have a coach?
So consistent actions is something that you're going to hold yourself accountable to do every single day. Maybe you plan on working I kind of do Monday through Friday for my business stuff. And then, Saturday and Sunday, I'll do some stuff business, but that Monday through Friday, my business stuff or my personal stuff, I create these consistent actions, like post 2 videos every single day, Monday through Friday, or things like email my customer list every single day, Monday through Friday. And then even my personal consistent actions as well, because I want to have a balance for me. I want to have a balance of personal and business both. But doing those consistent actions, you got to come up with them, and you might have to tweak them a little bit too as you go. But some of the things that were important to me, I did for business. I mean, and I was learning that stuff, right? Personal, I kind of had a good handle on that. I knew what I wanted personally. And so I came up with those particular actions that I wanted. But the business ones were a little bit harder, and that's what I've been learning and trying to navigate. But yeah, it's really just, I don't know, pulling the trigger, consistent actions, do it. It's an activity that you do every single day, whatever the days that you pick, and you just do those consistent actions. And when you do them, it will create results over time. It's that doing the little things every single day add up to be the big things. And I think we have to do these big things first. No, it's the little things that add up to the big things. So
Yeah, people have all these ideas, right? Things that they should be doing. So when we talk to business owners, they probably have told themselves, I should be creating some YouTube videos. I should be knocking at some restaurants, right? Or some businesses that I could work with. It's really turning those shoulds into
yes.
actions, and then
Mhm.
results, making sure that what's working keeps growing, what's not, you cut out. Now, if you're watching or listening to this, and this is something that you do want to have help with someone helping you establish those and actually stay on track, then you can either do this in a very low commitment way with our club, right? So benjorgoals.com/club. That's where you get that a lot easier, a lot cheaper. If you're ready to go all in and get a lot more intense, guaranteed help, you can go to benjor.com/deluxe. You said they had some credit cards when you were joining and some savings. What was the role of making a big investment into yourself in helping
I
you go
mean,
all in and commit?
yeah, I think a lot of it is everyone, not everybody, but a lot of people look at going to school and committing a big, school loan and spending, thousands and thousands, way more than a business coach. And they get done and they have this debt. And yes, they've learned a lot of stuff, but I looked at it as, I mean, this is going to be part of my investment in myself and my company, because this is one weakness that I have is accountability and getting off track, and I need somebody to push me. And so I'm like, this money is going to be well spent. Now, at first, it was kind of like it's kind of scary because you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know, but a little bit of it is like, you know what? I'm willing to bet on myself because I'm all in. I've already burnt the boats, and I'm not going back to corporate America. So this is an opportunity. I'm going to spend some money, invest in myself, and I'm just going to go for it. And that's, you have to have a little bit of faith in yourself. And I think, obviously jumping into it, I didn't really know. I'm like, is it going to work? Will it work? But I bet on myself, and it definitely has paid off for sure. So tenfold. I mean, compared to my school loans and stuff, going to school back in the day. I mean, yeah, I wish I would have done this. Like even if I went to college, I wish I would have had a business coach just throughout my whole going to school, having a business coach to help me with, getting my schoolwork done and then jumping into business. I mean, it would have been a game changer for me. So that would be my thing. If anyone's listening, like, you need to do this early on and just bite the bullet, spend the money, and put it on a credit card if you have to. and just trust yourself and know that it's if you're going to spend the money, you're going to have some skin in the game, and you will work, I think, extra hard too to know that you've got to pay that off and get out of that debt, and it's going to be anyway. So burn the ships and invest in yourself.
Love that. Now, if people don't, let's say that they're really young, they have no credit, they have no way of getting high level help or any help at all, what would you tell them to do so they get from ideation, thoughts, tons of ideas about what to do to grow, to getting to the real income so they can leave their jobs, they can be full-time in their business? What are some steps that you believe they should take to make that transition?
I mean, if they're trying to leave their job, I mean, I think they need to do their side hustle when they get home from their day job, you know? So figure out something that you want to do, and then just start working on it, even if it's a couple hours a day. Just start working on it so you can get some confidence and not have to take, this huge risk. But once you get a little bit of confidence going and you get some deals done or whatever you're doing, then you're like, oh, okay, I can take this to the next level. And then you can do it. Like you said, you have the different levels of coaching, and you just need to start somewhere. Stop talking about it and wishing that you could do this, and just go for it and do, even like I said, even if it's a couple hours a day. So if you work till 6 o'clock, well, you have from 6 o'clock till midnight to work on something. Most people think, I'm going to watch Netflix and just chill and do whatever. No, say, you know what, if I'm going to leave, I'm going to invest time. I don't have money right now, but I'm going to invest some time in myself and start learning this trade or learning this service or learning this business, and start watching YouTube videos and do something. And then once you kind of get to that point, you're going to be done learning. You need to implement stuff that's free. A phone call is free. Everybody has a cell phone. You can even email somebody. You can even reach out to family or friends or neighbors or someone and talk to somebody in your whatever you're selling or doing. You can start somewhere for free. You don't have to have money. That's the excuse that people use all the time. Oh, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. I need to stay here. Well, you have time. So everybody has time, and they have the same amount of time. So that's what I would suggest.
A lot of people spend a lot of their time actually learning in the learning mode without applying. What would you say that was the biggest change for you to go from learning to applying, or do you do both at the same time? How do you make sure that you're not just spending hours on YouTube or reading books, but not going anywhere?
Yeah, I think I got caught in that trap a lot of times where I'm just like reading the next book, next business book. And what I found is once I started implementing stuff, I had less learning that I thought I had to do. So when I started, my learning changed. It went from this general learning to, oh, how do I create an email campaign? It became very focused learning on, or how do I set up my website, or how do I create a lead magnet, or how do I do this? It became very focused. And that when it was focused, then it was actions that I was applying, because I was learning something I could take action and do something about it. So yeah, I think a lot of people get in that trap of just thinking they have to learn more, learn this, learn that. In reality, it's really taking action, and because that's where you're gonna learn. That's where I've learned more is taking action. I mean, no, yeah, the books are great and everything, but the action and just learning through the process of doing is the best learning out of anything that you could do. Just the hard knocks of business is just start doing it and make those calls, get rejected, and start doing this, try that. I mean, it's just that's the key, is just start doing it, taking action.
Now, speaking of those calls, Jeff, to end here on a light note, what's been the weirdest call, the most strangest one that you've had so far with a prospect, with someone you're trying to work with?
Probably the strangest call, more than funny, is just this guy just started talking about his business and what he's doing, and I mean, basically, you could tell he was a person of no action, just all talk. And yeah, and I was just trying to be nice on the phone and listening to him, and I'm in my mind, I was like, this is going nowhere. And yeah, it's like an hour later, it's like, oh my gosh, what a waste of time. But you don't really understand that until you go through the process. So now I'm a little bit more like, oh, this guy's chatty, he's not an action taker, so I'm going to wind this down and I'm going to wrap this call up quick. Before I didn't know how to do that. I had to learn how to do that. I just didn't know how to cut him off. I was too nice or whatnot. So nothing really funny, but yeah. I mean, I can tell you a funny call when I owned a carpet cleaning business.
Yeah.
I had a carpet cleaning business when I first got out of college. And because I was like, you know what, I am not working for anybody. I'm going to own my own business. So my father-in-law's like, hey, I'm selling carpet. How about if you clean the carpets? I'm like, hey, that sounds good. I want to go business for myself. In reality, I really wasn't creating a business it was more of I was creating a job for myself because I was doing all the work and everything. But it was a good learning experience. But I had got done with this job about 30 minutes away from my house, and Anyway, I got this phone call and I missed the call and he left a message on the phone. And in carpet cleaning, obviously you leave the carpets nice and clean and everyone's happy, right? So he calls me and he leaves this message on my phone. And he's like, hey, Jeff, I'm just calling you. I'm letting you know that spots will just keep reappearing everywhere on the carpets. And I'm not very happy. And there's more spots. They're just appearing out of nowhere. They're popping up everywhere. And then you hear this, oh, sorry, Jeff, I had something on my shoe and I'm tracking it around on the carpet. Sorry, don't worry about it. And he felt dumb and he hung up. So anyway, it was just kind of funny.
Yeah,
He was making spots appear on his own carpet because he had dirt on his shoe. And anyway, it was a funny call back then. I was just kind of laughing. And
that is
anyway,
kind of blaming
yeah.
you, huh?
I've done a lot of businesses and corporate America, but this time it feels real. It feels tangible. It feels success. I feel success, and what's changed for me is having a business coach. I mean, really, that is the change for me, is having a business coach that helps me along that path and keeps me focused, keeps me going, and that is the difference in my mind for me. That has been the game changer. Is if you haven't tried a business coach, I'm telling you, you got to do it. I mean, I know people say, I don't have money and I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, invest in yourself and do it. It is worth every single penny. Quit spending, $30,000 on school and just take that money and spend it towards, a business coach that's going to get you real results and actions. Not every coach will. So you got to find the right one that you resonate with and that can help you and has the right type of program. But for what you've been able to do for me, Benjor, has been amazing. I mean, it's just, I can't stop saying enough good about what it's done for me. And so I just wish people would just take more action. They get stuck and they just don't do it. It's like, do it. You would be so much happier, but people have to decide when they're ready. It's their choice. So.
It's true. Ready to commit. Now, I've a little background. I've spent about 55,000 on tons of coaches myself, right? So years ago, feeling lost, struggling, kind of like this learning curve. And most of them, honestly, all of them had their secret sauce, which was, this is the way you need to go all about, for example, Facebook groups. That was the hot thing. You got to build your Facebook group. Once you do that, you do tons of content lives, you start getting some results there. Someone else would say Facebook ads is the way. You just got to do Facebook ads, or your lead magnet needs to look exactly like this. So business coaching, Jeff, can have a bad reputation for people taking your money, and it's usually thousands of dollars, and you making nothing back. So how would you make sure that whether it's with us or someone else, people hire the right type of help, not just training that they can find on YouTube, but actually someone who's going to be with them every single day, one-on-one, getting them to where they want to be?
I mean, now that I've had experience with coaching, I think the biggest thing is, because I've talked to several other people that have tried a little bit of coaching, some group coaching and stuff like that, but the big thing has been the accountability and holding people accountable. And that's what you do really, really well, is holding people accountable and doing it at their own pace and holding them accountable in a nice way. You had asked me, said, hey, Jeff, how do you want me to hold you accountable when you're not doing the things? And I said, just be nice, but call it to my attention. And that's what you've done. Maybe somebody wants to be yelled at. I don't know. I don't think you have it in you to yell at anybody, but if you've had a bad experience with coaching, I think you just need to investigate a little bit more, find out if people are getting results. But you got to be careful though too, because there's some people that aren't taking action and they're not getting results because it's their own problem. It's not the coach's problem. So I think you just need to reach out and have an interview with the coach and how they do things and how do they find success and find out what they do a little bit different than the other people. But what I found though, there is no secret sauce. Like these people that say, oh, you have to do the ad this way or the lead magnet, or you have to do Facebook ads. It all works. That's what I found. It all works. You just have to find what works for your business and try a little bit here and there. And just there's not one solution for everything. And I think if people are selling that, I would say that it's probably not a good selling point if they're just focused on one thing, because everything works. It just depends on the business and what you're trying to accomplish.
Love it. Well, it's been great having you here. Jeff, you've been throughout this process, not just this call, but really working together. The action taker, right? Somebody committed who's done the work every single day. And that's why you got to the level you're at today. We're replacing that six-figure income, and I know you're going to go much further. Now, tell us about what you do for a second. Where can people find you, and how can you help? If there's business owners out there who need help with their payment, what happens a lot with Stripe, if you're listening, you're not aware, if you're watching, you're not aware, is that many times if you get a lot of payments at once, and it was not common for your business to do that, they'll hold the money back, and then you can't access that for months. And so that's a big problem with those big companies like Stripe. And so what do you do exactly, Jeff, and how can people get a hold of you?
So the easiest way that I tell people is I am a consultant for payment processing. So I have the ability to go to the marketplace, find the best processors for your particular business. And what sets us apart from like Square and Stripe and PayPal and Shopify and all these different big processors is they get you an account, but then they ask questions later. So instead of we ask the questions up front, we know all about your business, your average ticket size, how much volume, what you do, and we learn about your business so we can underwrite it. And so you won't have those problems on the back end. And the thing is I have access to dozens of processors out there. So if you think, oh yes, I have to have Square, I have to have this, we can even integrate into all these different websites, from Wix to what's some of the other, anyway, all these different websites, we can integrate your payment processing and you don't have to have Stripe and we can integrate. Now, once in a while you'll come across ones that you can't integrate, and that's fine. But we like to sit down and do a discovery call, find out what your biggest pain points are with your processing. Do you want same day funding? Do you want next day funding? Are you what are they holding your money? Did they freeze your account? We'll find out all that information. So yeah, they could go. The best thing would be is just go to my website, and it's www.merchamax.com. That's MERCHAMAX.com. And you can go on there and set up an appointment, and we'll do a quick 10-15 minute discovery call, no obligation, and they can find out if we can help them or not. Sometimes we can't, but a lot of times we can help the business. And the big thing I want to give a plug for is people don't realize they can get 0% credit card fees. And they hear that and they're like, well, that's not true. How do you make money? Well, it's just like gas stations, a cash price and a card price. We do the same thing. We set up your business. It's legal in all 50 states and it's all compliant. And we can literally eliminate 100% of your credit card fees. It's that simple. We can show you how to do that. So
That's awesome. There you go. So go check him out. Check out his website. Check out him on social media. What's your Instagram, TikTok?
Let's see. Instagram is Jeffrey Glines at Jeffrey Glines, JEFFREY Glines, and then TikTok is Jeff_Glines on TikTok. That's where I have most of my followers is on TikTok, but Instagram's great too. I have a Facebook page, same name. I have LinkedIn. I have basically 7 Threads and Twitter, and anyway, it's all kind of the same name. If you type in Jeff Glines, you'll find my social media handles. So
Perfect. Well, thanks for your time, Jeff. I hope you guys got some value from this. Take massive action, turn those thoughts, all those ideas, all of the confusion into consistent action, and make that dream business and life happen. So see you next time.
all right, thanks so much.